So I'm sure you've heard that the state of Texas, and specifically the Attorney General in Texas, is filing charges with the Supreme Court against 4 states, right? You heard Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are being sued by the state of Texas. And because it's an interstate lawsuit like this, maybe intrastate, between states, the point being that immediately makes the case go before the Supreme Court. Now, it doesn't mean that the case is going to be accepted by the court. You saw that it was docketed. That just means that they filled out the paperwork appropriately to ask to file that suit. So because they did everything statutorily correct, that is why it's been docketed. It doesn't necessarily mean that SCOTUS has accepted or ruled that they will accept this case and that they will hear it. But it is interesting that the call for multiple states to jump on this, you'd be in your best case scenario thinking you're going to get 5 more states to join Texas. Maybe the best case scenario, people were thinking like 10 more states could join. If you could find the courage. It's going to be something we're going to talk a lot about, courage, as the president tweeted. But this is it. This is the total list. Okay, led by the state of Missouri. You have Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, and West Virginia. That is where amici curiae, or amici curiae, the amicus briefs, I believe is what this is, are being filed, which means the proceedings, the little, I'm not an attorney, not a lawyer, but the starting place for filing charges like this, that's where in these states, that's where those documents exist. That's where they've been filed, in addition to Texas. So 17 states signing on to this Texas lawsuit. So it's an interesting number that we keep seeing pop up when things go right, isn't it? God, again, you'd thought maybe 5, maybe 10. Like 10 would be a ton. 17 joining Texas. So what do we make of that? What do you think that's going to do? Tell me in the comments. What I'll tell you I think this means is that the Supreme Court will say, hey, look, it's not just that there's really strong evidence for the case that they're making to be accurate and correct. It's not just that Dominion was disqualified in Texas, and now Texas can make the argument that they disqualified Dominion in their state because they knew of these problems, and other states that didn't disqualify it, and that changed the rules, and that did other things with the election to create mail-in ballot scenarios that would be fraudulent, all these different arguments that the case lays out. Really, they're upset. Texas is going to tell the Supreme Court, you have to accept these arguments. You have to hear this case now, because these other states have agreed this is egregious. So it's now not just Texas saying, I'm upset, these states don't do things the way I wanted, and we're in a united agreement here between states. Texas is probably halfway to thinking about, creating its own country again, because they have, I believe, Texas is the only state in the union that can at any point, with no ratification from the rest of the other states, no convention being called, Texas can just secede anytime it wants. That is the law. They're the only state that has its own constitution that has said supersedes the U.S. Constitution. So if Texas files this suit with the Supreme Court maybe could have just said, Texas is just being a crybaby. Texas is trying to go after 4 different states. Give me a break. Now you have a multitude. You now have a plurality of states saying, we also are signing on to this lawsuit. We also are contesting the legality of what happened in these states, because they have a good argument. These states can say, look, we followed the law, we had constitutionally legal elections, and we gave up those results. And we let the ball lie where it lies, right? The Democrat, the blue states, right? The 4 that are named, right? Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, they're all corrupt. We've known this for years. This isn't news to you, but it's interesting to think that through and to say that's their argument in court now, is that they did everything by the book. They have this result. The other states didn't do anything by the book. They intentionally and flagrantly broke the book wide open, tore the pages out, threw it in a fireplace, and then burned and shredded everything that they could along with the other ballots. That is what happened in those 4 states, and the Supreme Court's now going to have to say, well, look, it's 17 plus. It's 17 plus saying that this is real. Now it's not just Texas. It's not just a couple of attorney generals who are upset across this great country. No, it's 17 plus. I keep saying that for a reason. So you got to ask yourself, is this legitimate? Are what we seeing, these states, again, Missouri, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, and West Virginia. Call your AGs and tell them thank you. And tell them don't take your foot off the gas. Don't for 1 second hesitate or think the job is done because they've agreed to be supportive on one piece of paper. We want to see action out of this. Don't think that the game is over. So this is a win, right? The president tweeted saying that this is the big one, right? Texas is the big one. This is the one we have to focus all of our attention and effort on. Other cases are being stymied and are being argued and aren't being taken seriously in really political courts. So we are now taking the case straight to the Supreme Court, right to the heart of the issue, to tear the leather off the ball, so to speak. That's what this is. So 17 plus states signing on with Texas. Here we go to the Supreme Court. Like this video. Comment below. Let me know what you think is going to happen. If you're like, this is going to be nothing, it's going to go nowhere, you're stupid to have thought, don't look at the 24-hour rule with this story. Just, go ahead and write about it. Posted an hour ago. Look, I'll say this before I hang it up. I don't think that there were other things to make big posts about and get real excited about. I know the hearings in Michigan were exciting to watch. Hearings in Wisconsin and Arizona are exciting to watch. But I know they're not going to go anywhere. That's for the normies at home to sit and watch and go, wait, there really is all this fraud? If you're not looking at the Donald in the mornings and keeping up with news as it comes out throughout the day from independent sources, if you're only watching cable news, then you're not going to be hearing about all the fraud. So when you see Donald Trump tweet and say that there's all these fraudulent ballots and that he won, you could be fooled into thinking it was wrong, that it was stupid. So you have to have those hearings to show people. You can kind of illuminate them, if you will, to the problems, but they're not going to be the decision makers. They're going to be the influencers. That's what it is. It's PR. Jenna is PR. Rudy is PR. They're doing a great job, but it's PR. And it's to kind of open up each of these states, to expose what's going on publicly, and then these AGs from other states can sit back and go, I think we need to start sharpening some carving knives. And that's what this is. They're signing on 17 more states onto this lawsuit with Texas because they're showing, a show of force to the Supreme Court, saying we have not just 10, but nearly 20 states, nearly enough for a quorum. If you had, I believe, 9 more states, if you have 26 states, you can have a convention. What do you think would happen then? So that's what I think is happening. But again, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. YouTube's ripping subscribers out. I'm sure some people are dropping because I haven't been posting a lot lately. And I only really want to post something when I think it's worth looking at, when I think it's worth paying attention to. This is certainly that. So with that in mind, share this video because it's worth seeing, it's worth knowing. If anyone ever thought that any of these conspiracy theories from these last couple of years are stupid, I would again just highlight the fact that there's no coincidence that it's 17 states signing on to a Texas lawsuit in a single document. That it wasn't like 3 over here, these 5 over here, divided up maybe by region, so to speak. Nope, not divided up by any kind of circuit or anything like that. Nope, just 17 of them right on one lead in Missouri. So read into this. There's some to dig into. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and then do everything else that you can do to keep America afloat.